They already like, we need you, come on board, everything was agreed, but a very, very, very last step. You have to go to our website or somewhere and fill the application there, put everything about yourself, and then you will be officially after official, you will go to your application will go for review by management, and you will have an interview, blah blah. I said no way. You have my resume. If you want me, pass it to your management. If they will talk to me after, they will say, yes, we're hiring you, we just need paperwork, it's okay. So, any luck with applying? It's a 7-leaf clover. So, your resume can be one of the million, maybe not. So, most probably it will stay in somebody's database forever and never be picked up, or maybe after several years somebody will still hit you. And I have that situation, like I already 4 or 5 years as I switched to new email address which I use for job search, but still have emails on the old one, and they have my resume from 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. So, posting your resume. So, it's much easier. You don't have to go through all those jobs, hit them, apply, then fill the application. You just post your resume and then relax, drink a beer, whatever. And recruiters will contacting you. That's how I picture recruiters. Sorry. So sometimes there is very, very, very heavy accent, so you cannot understand them. Why is that? Because that is not very big professional job to find to find or to match the person to the position. So you see, let's say, just think hypothetically. There's somebody needs coal miner coal miner. So there's a position. Okay, you just have a list of coal miners, and you send emails to all of them. You call them and say, hey, you're a coal miner, yeah, how are you doing? Do you wanna, are you looking for a job? Do you wanna that wonderful position? There is a wonderful company, blah, blah, blah. So, it's easy to do. So, people from India, most of the time, they have English, basic English. So first, they outsource a lot to India. You post your resume, like tonight, make it available for the public. So guess what? There will be already morning in the India. So they will start searching, there's a billion people, right? They'll start searching, they will find you, they will pass your information to their affiliates here in the United States, who already jumped over the border, and they will call you, still with a heavy accent. So, I don't know how many experience that. Okay. So, and the problem is, because it's not very, 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 very professional job. Yes, it's a coal miner, but it's maybe something else associated with that. Maybe that person he was a coal miner 10 years ago, or he worked as supervisor for the company who established some kind of maybe sold pipes for coal mine. So, and he is in his resume, so it's matched. So that, but he actually not coal miner. And again, job in another location. Person don't want to move, but there's like a lot of I have a lot of jobs every day, like in California, in Oklahoma, in Michigan, everywhere. So all around the U.S. and kind of they like actually very curious. Why are you are not going there? There is a wonderful job. Okay, so and they offer you something which you don't want. Like you are stuck with full-time job. You want that. You want your benefits. You're like scared to the death of going to contract. They're like say, hey, this contract is so wonderful. That 2 months contract is so wonderful. Give up your full-time job. So, and definitely they don't care about job levels. So for junior, or they will still call you, or you're junior, they call you for extreme senior one. So bad experience, but kind of that's why I said it's full-time job search. And here again, recruiters, type of recruiters. Staffing companies. What staffing companies do? You are how to phrase that? Company A wants a project to be done, but they do not want to hire anybody. They do not want to. So it will kind of go. They do not want to extend their HR. They don't want to make their HR busy with hiring process. They don't want to hire contractors because it's like, and then manage them. So what they do, they say to the staffing company, we want such and such professionals to do that project. So staffing company hires full-time employees, DBAs, developers, whoever, and move those to that customer. So technically, people are working full-time job for company A, but actually paycheck is going from company B and W-2 from company B. So that is staffing. Actually, forgot to tell, staffing companies are almost the same as W-2. And a lot of people love them, and what the benefits of them, they provide like some medical benefits, everything. And even the biggest benefit, what I was told, was if customer's project just finished, so you are kind of unemployed, but that staffing company will still pay you as you are working. You're sitting on the bench, but you will be paid in full for doing nothing for maybe a week or 2 weeks or something. That happens, but it's not always the case. Sometimes, if there is what I experienced. We came to work at the morning, and we were told like 150 people, that will be your last day. And staffing company, so it was my first project with staffing company, and staffing company couldn't afford that. Like so many people be immediately kind of unemployed and search job for all of them and place them, they couldn't afford that. So they canceled all those projects. So W-2 with staffing companies does not protect you. So actually it does not protect you with any other case. In any other case, you have still 2 weeks notice at least in that case. So recruiting companies employer-centric. So in our area, there's a lot of companies like that. So they're working with maybe one or two employers, and by the name of the company, you can like, if somebody is calling like saying, hey, I'm from company blah blah blah, I have a job for you in Owens Mills, and they will immediately say Tyrrell Price. Yes, Tyrrell Price, because you know that company is working with Tyrrell Price and looking for providing jobs only for that, mostly for that company. So that is an example. Companies employee-centric. So it's more like intermediate companies, and also it includes independent recruiters. So what they're doing, they're kind of freelancers. They have access to the databases employers post jobs, and they're kind of trying to match you for that job. I love those guys because those guys are the best, and all my jobs were kind of I got from those guys, because like out of the blue, like from state of Massachusetts, somebody calls me and say, hey Slava, I have a wonderful job here in Hanover, and do you wanna kind of apply for that? Sure, and I got that job. So instead of just going through the long process of kind of applications, everything, that is mostly straightforward. And independent recruiters who are working for those companies kind of as subsidiaries, because again, those companies are trying to lower their cost. So instead of having full-time employees, they just outsource some functionality to guys from India. Okay, hey, you will be doing that, and those independent recruiters are do the search. And sometimes that happens once I had 3 layers of recruitment. So, or even more. Like first, the guy who called me was independent recruiter. Then company who get my contract, that one was Infogenie here in the area, and that company had a contract with a staffing company. So they provided me through the contract to the staffing company, and staffing company sold me to the actual employer. So so many layers. Everybody are saying like, hey, you have to minimize those layers so you will directly work for the employer. No way. The problem with that, yes, potentially, you can get more money, potentially. But it's not the case, because employer think in the same way. They think, if we will hire him directly, we will save money on all those middle layers, so we can pay him less. So kind of still you will have the same money, or even less, because in case you going through those recruiters will fight for your money, because they will get their bonus from you if you're on contract and working through those companies. From every penny you earn, they will earn like 8 to 10%. So they want your salary to be big. So, and so what about those guys, all of them? When they contact you, there's a lot of cases when multiple companies will contact you about the same position. So, general advice, work with the first one with whom you started to work. If there's like immediately 5 emails come to you and you choose that guy, work only with him and say honestly to everybody, sorry, I'm already working with that position. If you have a choice of those 5 companies with whom to work about that position, then better to choose the company you already worked with, or you already know, or the one which helps the community. So community helpers, then hey, it's you. So I mean, what I mean, if one of those organizations will be pro-object, so go with pro-object. Because it's maybe, most probably, salary will be the same with the pro-object or anything else. But those 8–10% will go to pro-object. So they have to benefit from what they are doing. They helping the community, so just give them back. So that is a general advice working with recruiters. And when you work with recruiters, more paperwork. When you have those guys again from India, first when you do, sorry, I kind of hit you all the time. So you kind of agree, like say, yeah, it's yeah, we can apply for that position. They immediately send you questionnaire that like 9 or 12 positions. They already know your name. They know your location. They know your visa status. They talk to you over the phone. You're available, blah, blah, blah. Phone number. They talk already to you. Email. They send you an email. So most of that information they already have. So what does it mean? They want that information for their computer system. They're too lazy to put it by themselves. So they could ask those questions over the phone when they asked you like, hey, are you available? Okay, yes, what's your visa status? When you're available for interview, blah, 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 blah. And they could do that right there. But they didn't do that. They're too lazy. So what can that mean? Or they're just collecting information. They're just maybe spam. Everybody send from all their database, send, hey, do you want that position? Yes, then you got that. They update their database. Maybe your resume will be one of 100 and maybe it will be chosen. But usually I don't feel that and kind of say, sorry guys, you're not professional. And again, it can be redirection to Tata in this case, and there might be contracts associated with that. Sometimes it's good case, sometimes it's bad. My very first contractual job was with huge stack of papers. I have to go through like online applications, everything. Like I don't remember, like 100 or 200 pages of all documentation because it was government for government. Yeah, it was through all those companies for government agencies. So it will go. It should have gone through the security check and etc. etc. So in my case, it was a good case. But I would suggest do not go with any contracts before the actual interview. Because that is just, you can say, hey guys, just save our time. Why will I spend paper and my time reading those documents if we can if maybe management won't like me, or maybe I'm not fit that position. So why will spend our time? And if that company say, no, we need to establish contract and all paperwork first before you go to, then that's a case when they need a slave. So they need paperwork in the first place and professional in the 10th place. So that means they actually don't need professional. Yes?
Are you talking about like an SF-85 or 86?
No, I don't know, maybe. Because it was 5 or 6 years ago. I don't know.
Well, the point of it is if the employer's going to take you on, they're going to fund doing that background check.
Oh, I was not with security clearance. It was like.
Well, no, I mean it's not even security clearance. It's the public trust. You have to go through that process.
Yes.
And why would a person like Layout Cash do that if they don't have an assurance that you're going to come on board to fulfill that? I mean, I think that's a legitimate case for like a contractual relationship. So let's say you're the employer in this case, and you have a contract with the government agency, let's say Social Security Administration, which requires public trust. It's not a background check.
Okay.
Complete, right? And you have a candidate, say like Tyler off the street, he's not here. And you say like, hey, I want you to sign on board that if we submit you and we do this background check, that you're going to fulfill this position we had that we're discussing. What's wrong with that? I mean, because
actually, in my case, there were.
I mean, if there's something that comes up and you can't get a clearance or like you don't pass successfully, then that's null and void and that's applicable. But if we're discussing this position and you're interested in it, and this would require work on our part and capital outlay, I think that's legitimate.
I'll talk only about my experience. In my experience, it was first stack of documents was with a recruiting company, who kind of put me in. So there was, I don't know how many, 50 pages or something was with them. Yes. So full contract that I'm kind of working with them because it was W2 with them. It was they worked as staffing company. So I filled all those documents, and then only after that they put me in an interview. After the interview, after team liked me and manager said yes, we are hiring him, then I went through security check. So that was another start of, through all those websites and prints or whatever. But that's how it was with me. I showed you a disclaimer. I didn't apply for everything. There could be cases which I don't know. So, but just generally speaking, be prepared. In some cases, not always. In some cases, I had very little documentation, almost nothing. Just 2 or 3, like as for contractual job, just 3, 4, 5 pages. Document they send, sign, put it back. Actually, be very careful with sign if you are going for contracts. Read them carefully because friend of mine, he works in New York City. What's happened with him? They worked on a project for city government, and they weren't paid for the whole month. Whole last month they worked, they weren't paid. End of story. And he worked for free for the whole month. It's not a good case. From my personal experience, I wasn't paid for the 4 days, for the last 4 days. Fortunately, I was paid later on, but it took about 6 to 7 months to get this money. So carefully, very carefully read contracts with the state, because in my contract it was like, what it was. It was if there's any problems with contracts or agreements or whatever, you have to discuss that through the New Jersey Trading Commission or something. So, and just to apply to that commission, you have to spend like $1,200 for your case to establish, just to apply for hearing. So it might not worth the money you kind of try to get from that company. So you have to kind of think and see what it is and what exactly where you're going. So types of employment. Actually, we slowly came to that. So working for contract is not so bright sometimes. So full-time or part-time employment for W2. So you generally slave to the company. Company can fire you at any moment. Just 2 weeks notice and you're out of the door. I was laid off from twice from my MNT bank. So it was when they merged with the first, and then they closed the department I worked. It was the second time, but then I was 2 times rehired. So it's good. But for another company, I saw people were laid off like with 2 weeks notice very easily, and nobody have insurance from that. So as kind of I mentioned before in my description, you buy life insurance, you buy car insurance, you buy home insurance, but you need job insurance for those cases. So right now you kind of invest your time, money in that insurance. So you know more about the process, you kind of refresh your mind, and you know where you are. And as I mentioned, full time. You can be fired at any time or laid off. You have a salary which is kind of dictated by the employer. You pray you'll have a raise 2 or 3% next year, and you might not have that raise, or like you hit the ceiling of your job title, and that's it. There's no growth of your salary anymore. So contract 1099 or corp to corp. 1099 is easier one, so it's like you just say, hey, I'm working for contract, and you get that 1099. Or you can do corp to corp, but for corp to corp you have to have your own company. There's a lot of things associated with that, but I believe what are the main advantages with that? So when you work for contract, you are become a businessman now. So now that actually, so before you draw every day to work for 8 hours, and you was that slave. Now you're doing the same, absolutely same, everything same. But now you're employer for yourself, you're kind of a businessman, and that all your business trips, if you do it